He lets himself rot in his self-hatred and misery. Oh, I know, Daisy. I want to give him a big hug too. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoir de Vite, and today I want to play a game that's based on the You and Him series called You and Him-CAIN. You know what? That's it. That's it. You're getting picked up. You're getting picked up, Daisy. You want a meow meow meow? You want a meow meow meow? You're gonna play this game with me. No, you wanted my attention. You got it. You got it. You're gonna stay here. You're gonna stay here. Miss Daisy. Trying to see about these boys. Kane. Graham's Arena, Belfast, California. 10:30 p.m. 1 month before Adam meets you. Okay. Are we gonna get some insight as to what's wrong with him? The award for Album of the Year goes to... There's a moment of hushed silence as Melody, an artist known for their revolutionary music videos and experimental sound, opens the envelope flap. While others lean forward in their seats, waiting on bated breath, Kane steals a swig from his flask. Pretty. Oh, what? You wanna leave? You don't want to stay in my lap? What? Ma'am? You're going meow meow meow? Off to the side? What? What, you don't want me to hold you? Oh, she hit me with her tail. Fine. Now that's good stuff. Are you drinking at the awards ceremony? He withholds a groan of satisfaction as his body loosens up. Sitting in these cramped seats for hours on end in this borderline stuffy setting of an award show sets him on a razor's edge. He doesn't even want to imagine how he'd handle all of this normally. All of these people with their probing eyes on him. Fluff that. Dude, you're a pop star. You gotta get used to that sort of thing. It's why he brought his trusty flask for backup. This is the only way he can preserve that carefully crafted image of the band that Saffron helped curate. Kane manages to tuck away his flask as Melody withdraws a glossy-looking card from the envelope on stage. They peer down for a brief moment, before breaking into a brilliant smile. Melody lifts the card over their head, as if the victory were their own, while the cameras zoom in on each of the nominees. One viewing including Kane and his bandmates. Gotta put that away. Kane! The crowd erupts into a deafening roar, cheers and screams breaking out all around the group. Kane resists the urge to check if his eardrums just bursts. Aww. Instead, he plays it cool as Ethan, his multi-talented instrumentalist of a bandmate, lets out a loud whoop and thrusts his arms into the air before bursting out of his chair and jogging towards the stage. Aww. King, Cake's drummer, goes next, practically bouncing on the heels of his feet as he makes a heart shape with his hands in the direction of the camera. There's a few delighted squeals that follow. Adam, the main face of their band and lead singer, is more subdued and gives a kind smile and wave towards the crowd. A down-to-earth reaction in comparison to the other two as he joins them on stage. Kane keeps himself from laughing. Not over the duality of their reactions over the announcement, but something else entirely. Anyone who knows any of these men could easily place why. Yeah! But they're all doing what they're told. They're entertainers. A fantasy put on stage, meant to sell albums and records and establish connections around the world. Or alibis! So, Kane puts on a show. It's his turn, after all. He gives the camera that zooms in on him an enigmatic smile and a wink, before leisurely getting up and going to join the others. He takes note of Adam's strained expression as he takes his time, his movements liquid smooth thanks to the liquor. Aww. Anyone who doesn't know the singer personally won't see the undercurrent of annoyance and anger coursing through him as he keeps his gaze trained on Kane's slow-moving legs. Always a fluffing snail's pace. Kane can practically hear Adam's thoughts and responds by simply ignoring him, eyes roaming towards the crowd before landing on a woman in the audience wearing a glittering silver gown that pools around her feet. Arya Adorna. Pretty. She was one of the other nominees, but you wouldn't know that by looking at how wide she's smiling. Particularly at Adam. If Kane had to guess, she'll try sleeping with him by the end of the night at the after-party. He wishes her luck. She's going to need it. With that thought, Kane finally joins the others on stage, responsible for making their album into what it is, a worldwide phenomenon. Millions of sales, nationally and internationally. Just about everyone knows Cake's name. A grand achievement from the outside looking in. But if he's being honest with himself, it all feels so fake and empty. No, not fake. It is. So much so he has to resist the urge to break out his flask and take a swig in front of everyone watching. Kane manages to wrangle his lips into a heart-shaped smirk as Ethan takes the microphone and wipes false tears from his eyes, hamming it up like usual. I just want to say... He fans himself as if he's trying to stop his crocodile tears. After putting up with Adam for months on end, I'd say we deserve this. Kane tries to keep from snorting. Isn't that an understatement? Ethan then breaks out into a playful grin and shares it with the purple-haired singer, who returns it with a good-natured smile and soft laugh, waving Ethan off as if he's embarrassed by his teasing. Aw, what an adorable front! When he finally gives up the microphone, King bounds over and blows the crowd a kiss, his follow-up speech bubbly and full of optimism. He then offers Kane the microphone next, but Kane waves him off. No thanks. Of course he's playing into his stage persona a bit, but he really doesn't feel like making some half-butt speech that he doesn't mean. Not to mention, who would really listen or give a crap? Insecurity nags at him. Aww. Finally, Adam steps up to the microphone, facing the crowd with practiced sincerity. His cross-earring glints under the stage lights. A beatific smile that rivals all other angels in heaven adorns his face, and everyone goes quiet, everyone going absolutely still. Without even saying a word, Adam's mere presence garners every single person's attention as they wait for him to speak, like he's a preacher at church spilling the word of gospel. No, more like he's a messenger of heaven itself. I really want to thank everyone who helped make our album what it is, from our record label, Collision Industries, to our artist manager who doubles as our tour manager, Saffron, to our fans who helped support us throughout the years. We couldn't have done it without a single one of you. You've helped our dream become a reality. Kane's over there like, oh, brother. He's really pouring it on. Ever the perfectionist, be it a speech or over their music. Kane can't count how many all-nighters they've pulled just because Adam wasn't satisfied with their sound, wanting them to match up with his unrealistic expectations for his vision of a song. He downed so many energy drinks to survive those nights. Not that he slept that well anyway. But Adam just loved to push people past their limit, and knows, without a doubt, that they're going to endure the same treatment when they start in on their next album. Kane almost raises an eyebrow when Adam reaches over and ropes Ethan into a one-armed hug around the shoulders and squeezes. Aw, gotta make nice for the cameras. Looks like he missed something. Oh well. None of this public display matters in the first place. Okay, Eeyore. Aw. And I don't know what I'm going to do with you, Adam says, earning small chuckles from the audience as he ruffles Ethan's hair like he's a troublesome little brother, before letting him go and showing that they're just messing around. The crowd, of course, eats every bit of their dynamic up. Adam then returns his attention back to their captive audience. The expression on Adam's face almost makes Kane roll his eyes, but he resists as the other man's gaze softens as he continues on. But honestly, I don't know what I'd do without him, or any of them, really. He takes the microphone and turns towards his bandmates. And I just want to say that there's no one better than this group right here standing beside me. I see them not only as my bandmates, but also as my friends, my family. Through it all, you stayed with me through all those sleepless nights of us working, perfecting our music, making me laugh when it got hard to. I can't thank you all enough. So, thank you for being there and acting as more than my bandmates, but as my brothers. Thank you. You almost had me there too, Adam. You almost had me believing that you're not a son of a biscuit. Kane keeps his half-smile fixed in place. He's done it time and time again, throughout all of Adam's meaningless speeches. The purple-haired singer's words crafted to bring a tear to any viewer's eye, but everything about it a carefully crafted lie. You signed up for this, Kane reminds himself. They all did. Kane keeps his hands loose and feigns amusement when the camera's focus shifts onto his reaction, acting like what Adam's saying is common knowledge between the members. He gives Adam a nod of acknowledgement and is tugged forward by King, who grabs onto his and Ethan's hands before they circle Adam and commence a group hug. Aww, I bet that looks great for the cameras. As their heads duck together, their expressions hidden away from prying eyes, Kane sees Adam's unfathomable rage. You mad, bro? What you mad for? He's staring at Ethan like he wants to choke the other man out. Ethan merely grins, always one to poke the proverbial bear. He knows Adam can't retaliate in front of all these people. He's safe. For now. Yeah. When they draw away, Adam easily slips on his mask as the down-to-earth singer of Cake. He even fakes a laugh when Ethan dips his head back towards the microphone before they head backstage, his golden eyes sparkling with mischief. Jeez, Adam, way to kill off the fanfics with that comment. Then he thrusts his fists into the air and shouts, "Kith for life, baby!" Cute. He's gonna get a black eye that they're gonna have to cover with makeup. Before he's pulled away with the group, earning chuckles from the crowd as they walk backstage. Kane raises a brow at Ethan as they walk side by side. Kith, huh? Kith was an obvious mashup of Ethan and King's names. Oh. Were you hoping I'd say Can instead? Sorry, maybe next time we win a whammy. Are you going to rip open your suit to reveal a shirt with our ship name hidden underneath like you did with Adam when we got the award for Best New Group a few years back? Okay, that's hilarious. Ethan, I like Ethan. Oh no, I'm thinking bigger, bolder. Think a marching band, a baton twirler, and crap ton of confetti. Well, I mean, that's entertaining. Kane shakes his head, the corner of his lips tugging up at the corners when he overhears the host of the Whammies giving a closing speech before bidding the audience good night. He's just glad it's over. After everything that happened on stage, he could use another swig from his flask. Is Adam gonna slap it out of his hand? Or maybe even a cigarette. He's craving something, either way. Their stint backstage is a brief one, with the exception of a few people congratulating them before they're brought out to the limo where Saffron waits for them. He's speaking into his Bluetooth and standing beside the open limo door. Kane catches snippets of the conversation as he slides in. Yes, we should shoot the music video beforehand. They'll be on the road after that for a year. No. He drags his attention away from Saffron and brings out his flask. At long effing last. Aw. He goes to take a swig when the limo door slams shut and a hand clamps down on his arm. What the fluff do you think you're doing? Of course. Right on cue. They're out of earshot and away from prying eyes, which means Adam's allowed to act like a prick again. Allowed. Taking a drink. What does it look like? Adam curls his lip in disgust. Put that crap away. You already smell like you rolled out of a kegger. Oh yeah, the smell. I didn't think about the smell, you biscuit. How about I light a cigarette instead? Kane retorts, refusing to back down. When Adam's expression twists even further, he can't help but let his lips quirk into a smile. Adam wants to act like an a-hole? Kane will match him step for step. He then wrenches his arm out of Adam's grasp, holding his gaze while he takes a swig from his flask, before dragging an arm across his wetted lips. A vein pulses along his jaw. He looks like he's about ready to take a swing at Kane, to which he'd like to see Adam try. A low whistle sounds to their right, drawing both of their attention over to Ethan, who's got his arms laced behind his head, wearing his typical grin. Easy there, Adam. If your face gets any more purple, it's going to match your hair. You're going to look like that one girl from Wally and the Chocolate Facility. Or, wait, did she actually turn blue instead of purple? It's kind of a bluish purple. He taps his chin in thought before he gives a non-committal shrug, and his cheeky expression returns. Out of the four of them, Ethan's personality on stage matches the guy he is in private. An energetic guy who loves to joke around and play pranks. His favorite target being Adam. Everyone else takes Ethan in stride, but Adam's easy to set off. One wrong move and there's debris for miles around. He's a grenade waiting to go off. And like Ethan said during his speech, he's a pain in the butt to work with. Kane watches as Adam bristles. Also remembering what happened with Ethan on stage and the brazen truth he aired out. But the audience won't take Ethan's words to heart. True or not, no one takes him seriously given his personality that lacks any semblance of seriousness. It's something only Ethan could get away with. A trait that Kane can't help but envy when he's sober enough to think about it. He watches as Adam's lip curls into a snarl. And you! What the fluff was that? Ah, there it is. Kane expected this. He knew how Adam would react as soon as they were away from prying eyes, the real Adam coming out to play. Ethan feigns innocence and presses the tips of his fingers to his lips, pretending to appear aghast. Who, me? Why, Adam! Whatever do you mean? I thought I was well behaved today. There's a sudden bang as Adam's curled up fist rests on the limousine window. His lips curl into a snarl that's closer to a demon's than an angel. Kane's surprised the glass didn't crack in the process. Me too. A lot of force went into that blow. Across from them, Ethan raises a brow, unperturbed when the purple-haired singer's gaze meets his, the air thickening with tension between the two. Kane takes another swig from his flask as he resigns himself to watching the two verbally duke it out. Where's the fourth guy in all this? Where's Saffron? Ah, that's some good stuff. Poor guy. You know exactly what I fluffing mean. What the fluff was that speech? Are you trying to make a fool out of me? Speech? Oh, you mean the one where I joked you're a nightmare to work with? I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. I thought you did too, given your initial reaction. What? Did you not like it or something? What do you think? I already said I thought it was funny. Jeez, you're... Ugh. He's cut off as Adam's arm darts out, the hand belonging to that arm fisting in front of Ethan's shirt before he drags him so close that they're nose to nose. Ethan grins, almost like he's getting a kick out of the whole ordeal. There's not a hint of fear, only amusement, and an undercurrent of something else that Kane himself knows all too well. Defiance. Couldn't stand the distance between us, I see. Goodness, Adam. If you just wanted to get up close and personal, all you had to do was ask. And then Ethan does something unexpected. Kane watches as Ethan kisses the tip of Adam's nose with a light mwah, the sound echoing through the car that goes deathly silent. No, don't kiss him when he's mad. That's his weak point. The only noise comes from the soft hum of the limousine's engine. A moment passes. 2. 3. Then Adam's gaze narrows into slits, and the hand gripping Ethan's shirt nearly tears the fabric as he lifts Ethan a little off of his seat. I am going to fluffing kill him. Don't kill him, you need him. You need him for the music, he says before all heck breaks loose as he winds his fist back, eyes flashing blood red. King, who remained silent up until this point, manages to grab onto Adam's arm, stopping his fists from making contact, and Adam tries shaking him off. Adam, please get a hold of yourself. You need to calm down. Adam ignores King's attempts at getting through to him. He keeps his eyes locked on Ethan. Nothing's going to stop him at this rate, and Kane slowly unscrews his flask with reluctance. Adam almost manages to wrangle himself out of King's grasp when Kane raises the container over Adam's head and lets the alcohol pour out into Adam's head. That's a good idea. Cool off. Adam stiffens, and his eyes dart in Kane's direction, looking ready to switch targets, but Kane continues on. If you punch Ethan, what do you think is going to look worse? A joke that everyone will brush off within the day, or a fluffing black eye that somehow magically appeared on one of your band members during our drive over to the after party? Yeah. There's paparazzi waiting for us, so unless you want people to speculate over Ethan's words after he shows up injured, you should get your crap together. Adam sneers, but Kane can see the acknowledgement of his words. While they can't stand each other, he's made a good enough point that Adam can't argue with. He drops his arm and stops fighting. King lets go of him, and Adam crosses his arms over his chest, turning to glare out the window and stewing in his own anger as he leans against the limousine door. But at least he's acting complacent. Well, yeah, but now he smells like liquor. For the time being, anyway. My hero, Ethan says in a falsetto voice, placing his hands over his heart. However can I repay you? Kane leans back in his seat and nods towards his now empty flask. My drinks are on you tonight. Aye, aye, Captain, he says with a cheeky grin. As he and Ethan slip into an easy banter, Kane makes quips while Ethan goes on about his near-death experience with a stone-faced Adam. The rest of the ride goes relatively smooth as they head for the after-party. When they reach their destination, paparazzi wait for them as their limo gains clearance to pass through the iron-wrought gates, flashes going off all around. Say, it's a good thing that you didn't, give him a black eye. Freaking nuisances, he mumbles, his expression remaining cold and harsh. The paparazzi can't see past the tinted windows, so there's no point in putting on a performance. I'm surprised he doesn't still do it. As they pull up, the mansion comes into view. It's like every other one he's seen before. A cardboard cutout meant to show the owner's obscene amount of wealth, with a courtyard the size of 2 football fields, and a pool no doubt waiting for them in the back. Instead of feeling impressed by the infrastructure, it leaves Kane with a sour taste in his mouth. He's starting to wish he didn't waste his liquor on Adam. Luckily for him, these places usually also have wet bars, where drinks are served for guests. That's the first place he's headed to. Heck, he might stay there the entire night at this rate. As the group piles out of the car, past other guests loitering out front and talking in small groups, he catches a flash of cherry-red lipstick and a familiar smile waltzing up to them. She's changed out of her long, elegant gown and beams at the group, namely Adam. She tucks a strand of blonde hair behind an ear, her cheeks rosy. "I'm glad you could make it. Welcome to my humble abode," she says, shining brightly. "If you want, I could give you a quick tour. There's plenty of people, so it's pretty easy to get lost." "Thank you for having us, but I think—" She doesn't listen to the rest of his words, instead choosing to loop her arm around his and tugging him along. "Come on, it's really no trouble at all." Adam visibly stiffens at her touch, and if he wasn't playing nice, Kane's pretty sure he would have ripped her arm off of him the second she touched him. "Why are you so mean, Adam? Who hurt you?" Instead, Adam gently withdraws his arm from hers and offers her a tight smile, hanging back. She twirls around in confusion. "Adam?" "I think I'm okay, thank you." A firm line gets drawn in the sand. "Don't touch me, lady." One that says, "Don't touch me," and "I'm not fluffing interested." Arya's eyes widen at the implication, and a hasty apology tumbles out of her mouth. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to." "It's okay. Let's just enjoy the night." He gives her one last pleasant smile before striding past her as she stares after him. King's smile is apologetic as the girl blinks, looking like she wants to cry, a trace of his real personality revealing itself. "Hey, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love a tour. Last time we wound up at one of these, I ended up getting so lost I found myself somehow locked in a bathroom by the end of the night." He then gives a soft giggle at the memory. "Oh, sure. Yeah. I could show you around." She's acting like her soul didn't just get pierced. She doesn't look as enthused as before, her eyes lingering on Adam and his retreating back. But then she's back into hostess mode, and she leads him and the rest of the group inside. Arya takes them through an array of areas made for entertainment purposes. There's a built-in movie theater, a spa area, a pool out back where most people are gathered, a playroom with all the latest gaming consoles, and best of all, a wet bar that Kane fully intends on taking advantage of. Ethan split off about halfway through the excursion. As soon as they'd entered the playroom, someone who knew Ethan within the industry wanted a rematch from their last game of Mario Kart during a different after-party. Never one to back down or show off, Ethan accepted the challenge, leaving the three of them to finish the rest of the tour on their own. Kane remained quiet as he followed behind Arya and King, who talked amicably. He could tell by Arya's expression that she'd already recovered from her earlier encounter with Adam. The only problem? She now eyed King in the same way she did Adam earlier, her eyes drifting over him with something like awe and want. "Are you two going to leave me all alone? Well, fine." Kane withholds a sigh, already knowing what would follow. That's going to be trouble later. Not because of her clear attraction to his bandmate. A good portion of people find them appealing, so that's not the issue. It's how King feels about relationships himself. Like Adam, King doesn't do them at all, although his reasoning is very different from Adam's. He didn't know why until after their first tour together. But that's not Kane's story to tell. Uh-oh. Rather than linger on the thought as they reach the end of the tour, Kane nods his head in the direction of the wet bar. "Thanks for the tour. I'm headed over there." Arya blinks at him. Did she forget he was even here? Aww. Oh, yeah, go ahead. She turns to King, her demeanor completely shifting. Do you want to go over to the pool? I'd love to introduce you to some of my friends. Kane watches as King smiles, feigning optimism, and keeps a bounce in his step as he and Arya walk side by side, heading out onto the patio. Yeah, that's not going to end well for her. She'd no doubt end up rejected twice. Either way, it's none of his business. He shakes his head and heads over to the wet bar. The bartender pouring others drinks talks with the guest, causing a few of them to laugh. He shakes his head and heads over to the wet bar. The bartender pouring others drinks talks with the guests, causing a few of them to laugh. He's a good-looking guy. A little shorter than Kane. Pretty blue eyes. Not to mention, he's got a cute smile to boot. If the paparazzi weren't waiting outside, he'd think about flirting with him and asking about taking him home by the end of the night. Would Adam allow that? He hasn't had sex in a while. Too busy to even really think about it. He's debating on at least seeing if the other guy is game when someone huffs as they sit down next to him, planting their purse on the bar. It's Melody, the one who announced their award for Album of the Year. The bartender waltzes up to them. What can I get for you? 2 shots of whiskey, Jack preferably. God, this night sucks. Aw. They drop their forehead onto the bar as the bartender turns to them. And you, sir? What they're having, but make it 3. We're getting crap-faced tonight. Coming right up. As he moves away, the individual angles their face so they're looking at him. Someone's a show-off. He raises an eyebrow at the comment. They smile. I can only handle 2, but 3 shots? Someone's going to need to peel me off the front lawn and find my missing shoe. Kane laughs at that, tipping his head back before he leans against the bar. I'll make sure you're not around for the rest of the shots I take then. Might make you jealous. More like I'd feel sorry for you, considering the hangover you're going to have in the morning, and whoever has to hold your puke bucket. What makes you think I wouldn't use a toilet? Can't imagine that pretty face resting against someone else's porcelain throne, unless it's your own and it's gold and heated. But if that's the case, you're a little too extra for my taste, and I'm going to need you to get out of here. What? His lips tug at the corners in amusement. He plays along. Did I mention it also vibrates? Melody groans. Okay, now I just officially hate you. Get out of my sight. They make a shooing motion with their manicured nails, before actively turning their back to him, stealing glances over their shoulder, but smiling to show they're just messing around. If it helps, it's shared between 5 different men. Extreme ellipses. They turn back around. Okay, yes, that actually does in fact make me feel better. They say as they grab one of the shots the bartender served them, before tipping their head back and planting the glass back onto the bar. They hiss through their teeth and shake out their arms. That's the best. I really needed that. Rough night? Horrid. God awful. 10 out of 10, never want to experience again. In fact, I think I'm going to order a 3rd shot because I really would prefer to forget ever agreeing to help with the whammies. I'll cover you. Or should I say, Ethan will cover you, since it's his tab I'm running this on. They spit out a laugh. Oh, that little crap? Okay, sure, I'll take you up on that offer. You know him pretty well, I take it. Kane asks, downing one of his own shots before slipping into the bar stool next to theirs. Melody snorts, swirling around the liquid in their shot glass. I've never forgiven him for disconnecting my controller during Mash Sisters. Mash Sisters. I was winning, and he cheated to get ahead. Never forgiven him since. Melody, is that you? Uh-oh. They groan. Speak of the devil. They whirl around in their seats as Ethan strolls up, his eyes sparkling with humor. Kane simply remains facing forward, only peering over his shoulder. He's taken off his jacket, and now his sleeves are rolled up. He had to lock in for gaming. Hands tucked into the pockets of his pants, his shoulders relaxed. Kane can't help but envy how easy Ethan makes it look. He doubts Ethan drank anything tonight. He's a casual drinker, unlike Kane, who's well antiquated with Jack and vodka. At most, he probably settled for a beer. Even so, he's in his natural element when speaking and joking around with others. There's a few people looking over from the playroom, no doubt waiting for him to return in order to start another game. It's something that Kane envies in the deepest recesses of his soul. Aw, you want to play the games too? Don't. Something in the back of his mind hisses. Kane's hands tighten around the shot glass he's holding, his inner self-hatred curling around him like a vice. Aww. You remember what happened the last time you let those feelings rule you, don't you? And he does. The memory comes crystal clear, sharp and cutting, the regrets from that day haunting him during every waking moment, his sleep no better. He swallows the lump forming in his throat. Won't unplug it this time, Kane hears Ethan say as he keys back into the conversation. Melody rolls their eyes at Ethan, before leaning back against the bar and folding their arms over their chest, their eyes narrowing at the prankster with a sour twist in their mouth. I wouldn't trust him. You are a menace, and you know what they say. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm emotionally wounded by your distrust of me. Do you really think so low of me to think I'd pull the same stunt twice? Ma'am, I'm trying to see what's going on here, and you're going meow meow meow. What you want? Huh? What you want? I'm emotionally wounded by your distrust of me. Do you really think so low of me to think I'd pull the same stunt twice? At least give me some credit in the fact I'd switch it up. Yeah, I figured. Melody gave him a dry look. But Kane can see they're considering taking the risk of joining in. He missed out on what was said, but neither of them noticed he wasn't speaking anyway. Aww. No one ever usually does. Aww. He's the type to easily fall into the background, easily forgotten, easily replaced. Aww. A miserable, sorry excuse of a man who drinks to cope with things most people can handle without a crutch. No one would miss you if you died. Aww. Kane blinks. That went from 0 to 100 real fluffin' quick. He peers down at his alcohol, almost accusingly, despite the fact that his sober self always battles with these thoughts. Merde. Maybe he's had enough for the night. If he starts teetering towards that line of thought while drinking, he's gone too far. Melody turns to him. I'm getting my revenge. Talk later? Kane just simply gives an upward tug of a smile, masking his disappointment. He enjoyed their company, but he knows his own isn't exactly the best. Aww. Kick his buns. Melody gives him a wide smile before they turn and scribbles something onto a napkin before handing it to Kane. A number. Oh, he doubts he'll ever text it. Sober him isn't the type to reach out first. And even intoxicated, he knows as soon as anyone finds out about his other side, it won't end up well. Laughter echoes in his ears, mocking and high-pitched. And then he hears the words spoken aloud. "Bring it, loser!" Uh-oh. Is that his trigger word? Is that his special word? They're speaking to Ethan, but the memory rams into him like a truck. Loser. His jaw hitting the bathroom tiles as the laughter surrounding him grew louder, tears prickling at his eyes. His arms were strained behind his back as he thrashed and tried to fight back, but couldn't. Something biting into his side. No! No! A scream drowned out by mockery and a smile at the helm of it all, standing and watching as he thrashed and squirmed against their hold. Who has done this to you, Kane? Who has hurt you? Loser. The sound of glass shattering echoes in his ears. Then pain registers. Did he break his glass? Kane? Oh, crap. Kane blinks as Melody gingerly takes his hand, revealing that he broke the shot glass, shards of it sticking out of his palm as blood trickles from the wound. They've stirred up a bit of attention from the people around them. Aww. Kane watches as King makes his way through the crowd of people, his lips drawn into a tight line of concern mixed with determination to no doubt reach him. Aw, he's gotta go get his buddy. Then there's Ethan, who lingers behind Melody, hissing through his teeth at the sight as they examine Kane's palm. And then there's Adam, with a group of people surrounding him and Kane watching his eyes scan the wound, eyes drawn by the blood. It drips onto the ground, Adam's eyes following it all the while. Drip. Drip. A slow, twisted smile that's all mockery forms on Adam's face. Why? But it's no longer Adam's face he sees, the ghost of his past that forever haunts him, standing there instead, always on the sidelines to revel in his misery. Oh, so was it you? The same person, with that same smile from the memory he recalled earlier. Oh, you are the son of a biscuit. Loser. We should get this cleaned up. Ah. They're cut off as Kane gently brushes away their touch and stands up. He's quiet. Kane? He says nothing as he stares straight ahead and, "Ma'am?" He says nothing as he stares straight ahead, eyes locked on Adam. He hears Ethan say something, and hears King asking for a medical kit, but Kane hears none of that as he continues forward. Aww. Adam's mouth becomes more twisted as he gets closer. He's wearing a scowl rather than the initial smile Kane saw earlier. Was that smile real? Or imagined? It doesn't matter, because now he's standing in front of the man who makes him remember the ghosts of his past. I need to use the restroom, and you're in my way. The air thickens with tension. The people surrounding Adam start looking uncomfortable, but Adam plays into his character that he lets the rest of the world see. Are you okay? Your hand's bleeding. Wait, move. There's a distinct tension in Adam's shoulders, and if they weren't in public, Kane's almost certain Adam would have angled a punch at him. Adam instead steps aside, keeping on the mask of concern. Kane overhears Adam whispering to those around him as he walks past. I hope he's okay. I'm starting to think maybe he drank too much tonight. He's usually not like this. Nice cover. Someone reassures Adam that things like this happen, and Kane pushes through the bathroom door and locks it shut behind him. Inside, he finds a sleek countertop with 2 sinks, a rain shower head with multicolor LED lights, and a pristine toilet that Kane pulls down the lid on so he can sit down and look at his hand. Ugh. He plucks the glass out of his skin. He feels empty as he does so. Can we get Kane a hug or something? And a medical kit and bandaged up his hand? He endured so much pain in his past. He wonders if he's immune to it now. Lady! What? It's not time to eat? Again? I already fed her. She's already been fed. But then again, maybe she's yelling at me because I haven't eaten. It doesn't hurt. But his memories, his existence, those do. When he's finished, there's a knock at the bathroom door. Kane? Can I come in? Kane sighs and reluctantly pulls himself up, opening the door and letting King slip inside before he locks it again. King holds up a med kit. We managed to find one. Is it okay if I take a look at it? Kane nods and simply sits back down in his original spot on the toilet as Kane gets to work on taking care of the injury. No trace of the bubbly persona. He's just King now. Are you doing okay? His soft, gentle voice draws Kane's gaze up. Worry lines his features, and Kane knows that he's not just asking about his hand. King's good at reading people, knowing when something is wrong, his typically quiet and calm nature making him one of the band's most observant members. Aww. Kane's gaze drifts back to his now cleaned hand, soft gauze tapering off the wound. I think I drank too much. Not much more to it. Well, accidents happen, but if that's the case, then what happened out there with Adam? He doesn't look at King. He can't. He's afraid of the pity he'll see there. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but just know I'm here if you do. Oh. Or is Adam the only murderer and the rest of them actually have a heart? Out of the corner of his eye, he sees King give a reassuring smile, gentle and full of understanding. Kane just nods. He doesn't want to talk about it. The last time he opened up about why such a simple word like loser seemed to trigger him. Ugh. You were envious. That's why you did what you did. Kane sat with his head in his hands, his body trembling as the person speaking circled him like a shark. But he needed to hear this. The acknowledgement that he was a terrible person. Oh. That he was evil. That he was a monster. That he was bad because hearing the words aloud would cement it in his mind and stop Kane from doing something so horrible ever again. The person paused to whisper in his ear. Was that person a butt named Adam? He mocked you, did all those things to you, but he had people who loved him despite those flaws, who loved you despite yours. Then Kane felt the person draw away in disgust. Kane sobbed harder. No one, because you're weak, and your envy makes you weaker. So trust me when I say, I'll never let you forget it. Whomst? Aw. Kane? He's pulled back into the present and away from the memory, his empty eyes sliding towards King. A dead weight rests on his chest. Kind-hearted and caring King. Like Ethan, Kane envies King. A level head on his shoulders, a serene calm in the face of any storm, King is the single person everyone needs in their life. But no one needs him. Never someone like him. He ruins everything. Hey, that's that negative self-talk. That's that void talk that we were trying to defeat here. Not to mention, King wouldn't have done what Kane just did, getting worked up and taking out his frustration and hatred and regrets out on someone else. Because, like it or not, Adam didn't even really do anything wrong this time. Sure, he's an a-hole, but Kane's not even sure if he was smiling or not since he wasn't close enough to see. He made an a-hole out of himself by walking up to him, speaking with venom for no real reason, other than Adam just reminded Kane of his past. If he were more like King, he wouldn't have done what Kane just did, proving that Kane's more of a monster than he cares to admit. Aww. He bows his head and runs a hand through his hair. God, I fluffing hate myself. And a voice whispers back, Good, it's what you deserve. I just need to be left alone, Kane says at last, finally responding to King's earlier inquiry. There's hesitation, but King won't overstep his boundaries, and so he simply accepts the request. Daisy! She's just staring at me and going, meow. Daisy, I'm having a moment with Kane. He's having a bad time. She's just switching her tail. She's so mad. He's so mad, Daisy. Okay, but if you ever need me, just let me know. Even if it's just to talk about nothing in particular at all. Then, King gets to his feet and finally leaves Kane to drown in his own bitter self-hatred. He watches as the blonde head of hair disappears past the doorframe and hears Adam as well as the rest of his group asking about how Kane's doing. Kane explains the situation, saying that he needs a minute. Kane lets his head fall back, staring up at the ceiling as the voices outside the door fade away, forgetting about him. He closes his eyes. Oh! Of course, whenever he gets attention, whenever people remember or think about him, it's always for something as shameful as this. It's why it's better for him to stay in the background, a complete mystery to everyone else. Otherwise, they get to see these sides of him. With shaking fingers, Kane pats down his pockets and manages to locate his cigarettes, slipping out one before lighting it up in the bathroom. He lets himself rot in his self-hatred and misery. Aww. I know, Daisy. I want to give him a big hug, too. Because what's a better punishment for someone whose life is ruled by envy? Let me adopt him. No, get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. Where are the adoption papers? I'm going to adopt this grown adult man as my child, and I'm going to take care of him. Let me adopt him now. Now, get your hands off of me now. I'm going to adopt him. He will be my child, and I will take care of him now. Let go of me. Let go of me. Oh, so fluffing stupid. Adam listens to the people around him as they worship the ground he walks on and kisses his buns, congratulating him on winning the award for Album of the Year. He fakes a smile and gives a humble response. Oh, it's not just me. I had so many people who brought this album together. And just like that, people eat this crap up. They start talking over one another, gushing over him, the circle tightening so he's completely surrounded, which makes his skin crawl. So many voices. He's on the verge of ripping out someone's tongue when Walter, the host of the Whammies, clamps a greasy hand down on Adam's shoulder like they're old friends. He doesn't even know this guy outside of what he's heard. There's some shady history surrounding him within the industry, whispers often coming from those who are forced to work with him in the past. There's something off about him, and it's a wonder Adam hasn't been sent after him yet. He's staring a hole into Walter's hand when his pocket buzzes. He gives everyone around him an apologetic smile. Sorry, incoming call, if you'll excuse me. When he steps away and manages to find a secluded area, he peers down at the text sent to him. The smiling face of a woman with golden locks and crystal blue eyes stare up at him, one of her hands tipping her wide-brimmed hat up as her other hand holds down her skirts of her white summer dress. Underneath are a list of key details he'll need to know about her in the future. things he can use to his advantage. Uh-oh. Adam frowns as his eyes drift up, scanning through the crowd until he finds the woman from the picture standing shoulder to shoulder with King. She's flushed with happiness over the drummer's attention. Arya Adorna. Adam scowls, his jaw setting at the sight of her. Well, isn't this just fluffing great? I gotta work. I'm here to relax. Looks like I have to get close to her after all. Oh, lady. Oh. Well, that was You and Him-CAIN. And Kane, he's like the Eeyore of the group. He's so sad. So I still don't know. I mean, maybe it was obvious, but I don't know if all of the band members are murderers or if it's just Adam and the others got roped into this or guilted into it. But man, poor Kane really has some issues. We need to get that boy some therapy. And who's manipulating all of them? Because at first I was sure it was Adam, but maybe it's somebody else. But anyway, I guess we will see if this story or if You and Him are continued. Until then, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourself, have a great night, and remember, there is always hope.